Hello everybody, it's Stephen and Walter here for another episode of So Chatty. This is episode number 162 and it is November the 8th, 2024, and we're continuing with me making a shirt. But before we get to what we're doing today with that, just some general things. I just finished this item up. This is the Whirling Wonders pattern by Stephanie Stitches, and you've seen it in various stages before, but now it's completely done. It is all quilted, it is all bound, and I think it turned out really good. So good that I am hanging on to this one as a possibility of a entry into a spring fair we have out here next June. I've never entered a show before or where it's judged, so I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I'll have another one before then that I like better. But right now I'm very pleased with the way that one turned out. Okay, so let's go to this camera. There we are. And yeah, announcements. Sewing with Stephanie and Stephen on Wednesdays as usual. Links in the show notes. Tomorrow we're going to a special sew day for Quilts of Valor. We have been invited to attend a special sew day in the Aeronautical Museum on the Trenton. Trenton is a little town that's east of us by about an hour and a half, where there is a Air Force base, Canadian Air Force base. And there's about 25 people going to be there, and we're working in teams of 2. And we're putting together a bunch of tops that will eventually become Quilts of Valor. But also what's exciting about tomorrow, and the reason why we got invited to join this day, is because a quilt I donated over a year ago is being presented to one of the vets. And I was asked if I want to attend the ceremony. And I said, yes, of course I did. And he's not the only one. There are 5 other recipients of quilts for this ceremony. So I have no idea what to expect. Never been to one. I think they're probably very emotional. And I do hope that I'll be able to get some of it on video to share with you on the channel as well. I've asked about that, whether if I needed special permission. And I was told they didn't think there'd be any problem. But anyways, we'll know for sure tomorrow when we get there. So that's coming up for us tomorrow. And if my phone with my notes on it would go back. Yeah, just a reminder about the Hope Air raffle for one of my quilts, a quilt that I donated to them. That is now live. You can buy tickets for that raffle. I sent out an email about that. I'm going to say more about the Hope Air project that I've donated my quilt to. And I'm going to talk a little bit about the email I sent out because, well, I had a couple of people who I don't think took kindly to the fact that I put that out there through my mailing list. So I want to clarify a few things about that, but we'll save that for Stephen and Walter Live on Sunday. So tune in then for that. And I will warn you that on Sunday, our topic is going to be the elephant in the room, is what I'm calling it. We are going to talk about the election. I feel that we need to talk it over to have closure. But we're going to talk about it from a Canadian perspective, not so much from American perspective, because basically we're not Americans, right? So we can't do that. But yeah, everybody's got mixed emotions as to what happened. People's emotions are on a high, and not necessarily a good high because of all of that. And it would just be, people are expecting us to speak about it. Okay, I know that. And then we'll be done. And we move on with our lives. Okay, so that's on Sunday as well. So Sunday is going to be a very interesting edition of Stephen and Walter Live for a couple of reasons. Okay, so what are we doing today, Walter?
Okay, so we're going to sew up the sides of the shirt. We've put in the sleeves last time. And so after putting in the sleeves, you just have like this plain sleeve hanging here in midair. So it needs to be sewed up. So it needs to be sewed up. The side seams need to be sewed up so that
so it doesn't fall apart.
So it doesn't fall. So it becomes more like a shirt, right? So
that would help.
And what you end up doing is you're sewing the sleeve up to the joint.
Here, why don't you show it on that camera here? I'll switch over to it.
Okay, you're going to sew the sleeve up to the underarm joint, right? That's the sleeve there. And then you're going to sew it all the way down to the bottom of the shirt. And that'll be on both sides, right? And then that'll also be it'll be sewn and it'll be serged like the inside of the sleeve, and then it'll be top stitched all the way down. So what we're going to do here in this thing is that we're going to have Steve do one side and then do that on camera, and then we'll do the other one off camera so that we don't bore you to death. And then if depending on how long that takes, I don't think it'll take very long. We will also start with at least start with the collar, um, and hopefully we'll be able to finish the collar. The collar comes in 4 pieces. This is the collar, the actual collar part, right? It's 2 pieces that need to be sewn together, and then we have something called an under collar here, which is the part that goes underneath that holds the collar up against your skin. So you'll see that on any shirt that exists. So there's actually 3 parts to that collar. There's or 2 parts to that collar. There's an inside collar, under collar, and an outside under collar, and then the collar goes on top of that. So
Okay, that made a lot of sense to me, not, but I'm sure it will be clarified once we
well,
get
if
going on this.
I should have brought a regular shirt down with me, but maybe I'll grab a regular shirt and we can show that.
Okay, so Walter got another shirt to show you what he's talking
Yeah,
about.
so I just thought I'd show you the example. Like if you have this part here, this is the collar portion, which is this portion of your shirt that wraps around you when you're wearing it, right? So that these two pieces, these two pieces represent the top and the back of the collar, and then they have something called the under collar or the collar stand that is a standing. It's attached to the back of your shirt and it makes the collar stand up. It's another stiff thing that goes around your neck, and there's an inside piece and an outside piece that has to be done. So what we're going to have to do is sew this collar up separate and press it and top stitch it, and then we'll have to attach each of these under collars to the shirt and also top stitch it all the way around, and that's how you do a collar.
Okay, all right, so now that we've gone generally over everything, let's get into specifics here. So switch camera again. So what are we doing first? We have the shirt, we need to sew up the sides. So do we need to, I would assume, clip or
Yeah,
pin?
okay, so what we need to do is, what I often do is I'll take the 2 underarm pieces and stick them together first, right?
Okay,
Now
so
you can just clip them together as best as you can, and then first you could actually sew them first if you wanted to, but that's up to you.
so you're matching up the 2 seams.
The 2 seams. I'm matching up the 2 seams, the underarm seams. These are the underarm seams, and I'm making sure that they're lined up.
So you're nesting the seams, or
No, they're not nesting. They're right on top of each other.
okay.
Okay, no nesting.
All right.
You want the line to be straight
Okay,
underneath,
so
right?
there's a little line here
Yeah.
of stitching line on both of these. So we're matching that stitching line up.
There's actually a little ridge.
Here, show it up onto the camera a little bit.
There's a little ridge here. And we're going to just match these 2 ridges up so that it'll be even underneath. Okay, and we're going to just clip it there. And then we'll work our way down to the front of the sleeve with clips.
Now, if all goes well, when we get to the end of this piece, they should match up, right? There's not going to be any overhang, is there?
Well, there's a slight overhang.
There's a slight overhang. Is that
so we'll just fix that. We'll trim that down.
Okay, there's a lot of that going on in this shirt, I have noticed. We keep trimming things down.
Okay, and then we go to the side seams. And we just clip these all the way down.
Clippy, clippy. Okay.
If you're a really experienced sewer, you don't have to clip them. You can just sew them down, but
Well,
we will clip them.
I'd be a little more comfortable with them clipped myself at the moment. I clip everything when I'm making a quilt, so even though I probably could keep it straight, I just find it's an assurance policy. So how wide are we doing the seam? 3/8?
3/8 of an inch. We'll sew it down first, and then we'll serge it, and then we'll top stitch it down. Okay. So what you might want to do is just sew from here to here first.
Okay, right? So hold it to the camera so we see what you're talking about.
What you might want to do is sew it from here to here first, and then sew it down this way.
Okay, why?
Well, only that if you have any overhang or something, if you get a bulge going down here, then you'll end up with a bulge here. Right. So it would be easier for you if you don't have that.
If it goes out to the end. Okay, right? I get that. All right. So
go to the machine and do that.
Okay, now first of all, I have got the F foot set up on the machine. Let's move the camera over here so you guys can see what we're talking about. Okay, so 3/8 of a seam. You'll have to remind me on this foot. Is it on by the outside edge?
By the outside edge, yeah.
Okay. Okay. And I guess I'll have to flip it over this way if I'm going to sew from that seam.
Yeah.
And do you start right on that seam?
Yeah, just right on or just before.
So like that? And I'm using the outside of the foot. Okay. Where's my pedal? Make sure this is not going too fast. A little fast. What's going on here with my thread? Oh, well, it would help if I was threaded too. Okay. I thought I was threaded. I guess I wasn't. Okay, we can start this.
Now you might want to make sure your seams are still aligned there. Okay, there you go.
Okay. Alrighty. So this is pretty easy sewing because it's pretty much a straight line. With a slight curve to it. Where's my... Oh, I want my stiletto. Okay.
Actually, yeah, okay, don't worry about it.
What?
No, go ahead.
Shouldn't I line it up?
Yeah, you line it about, yeah.
Do I need to backstitch?
You can, it's good to do that, so it keeps it just a couple.
Okay, so we've got a little
excess. That's okay,
there.
we'll fix that.
All right, so now it's all this trimming. We don't do this in quilting like that. Okay, let's get this flattened out. And we're going to go now. What?
Okay, that's fine.
Where did I leave off? Because I would take it you want to make sure your stitching overlaps because you'd have a hole, right?
Yeah, you do, yeah.
But you don't want
well, it doesn't really matter because we're going to serge it too, so.
Okay, yeah. Oops. I think I may have been gone off a little there.
Yeah, don't worry. It's just your underarm.
I'm just, yeah, well, nothing like raising your arm up and there's a big hole in your underarm. Like, people notice things like that, you know.
Yeah, I know, but we're going to serge this too,
Okay.
so.
By the serger seams.
See, normally what we would do if you're doing a regular shirt is do a flat felt seam, which is a double fold over. So you wouldn't, still wouldn't get a hole if you missed a stitch. But we're doing a serge on the side, so the serged edge will cover anything up, any imperfections up. But we still don't really want it. But
well, serger just covers a whole sin of mistakes, doesn't it? Okay, we're getting there. Now, I didn't adjust anything when it came to stitch length. We've just been using
yep, that's fine.
2.40.
Just a small back stitch.
I forgot about the back stitch.
Oh, don't worry about it. Okay, we'll be okay. It's just to tack it down while we're working with the shirt. So
okay, so that side is done.
Right. So then we could go upstairs and do the serging part, and then
why not do the other seam?
Okay, let's just why don't we do that off camera, and then we'll go to the serging part.
Okay. So we'll be back to show you. Well, actually, before we do that, let me move the camera around here so you can get another look at this. To what I just did. So this is what I just sewed up. So I started here, I went that way, then I started here and went the other way, and so now.
Okay, now what you can do is you can check inside to see how accurate your join is with your seam, which you were pretty accurate right there. That's your inside underarm seam.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So good. All right. So as Walter said, we're going to go off and we're going to sew the other side down, and then we're going to meet you back up at the serger in Walter's sewing room and show you what we do then. Okay, we're at the serger. Walter's already done one side, showed me how to do it. It's pretty straightforward. So here we go. Where's the bloody pedal?
It's down at the bottom. It's kind of awkward.
It is.
Just make sure your stuff's not folding underneath.
Yeah,
it should be okay.
I'm doing that. I don't really want to put a hole in it.
Don't need to trim that much off the side.
Well, I'm up against the blade.
Yeah, well, you shouldn't be trimming more than hairs off this. But anyway, go ahead.
Well, I have it lined up.
Yeah, all right, fine. That's all right. That's fine. You're okay. Go ahead. It doesn't matter that much, but go ahead. I just thought I'd tell you that.
Well, as long as I'm on the inside.
Yeah, go ahead. Don't worry
seam,
about it.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you say don't worry about it.
Okay, fine. You're good.
So we're good?
Yep.
Okay, so what are we doing next?
We're now going to top stitch it down.
Okay, like we did before.
So now we're pressing.
Okay, so we're pressing, and this is the seam along the shirt, and this is the front of the shirt. So we're pressing it to the left, towards the front.
Towards the front of the shirt.
Okay.
Now what I need you to do is insert the skinny ham into the sleeve. Right, actually it's easier to do it from the bottom.
What, from this side?
Yeah.
So that's the long
Yeah,
way.
I know,
Should it
but
go the other way?
hang on. You need your sleeve to be up, right? So
My sleeve needs to be up.
so that you can
Oh.
see your seam.
Oh,
Right?
okay.
Okay, so then you just pull the ham up.
So
No,
no, I'm going this way.
You're going that way. Pull it so that's in the center.
Oh, okay.
So you've got something you can lay it on. Okay.
All right, just like that, right?
Yeah, and then push it over
And
and
going
then sew. Yeah.
Okay, fine.
Okay, that's it. That's it.
By the way, while we're here, before we do the other side, just show this iron on the thing, because we had a question last week as to what iron that I'm using. This is a Reliable. That's the name of the company. It's a tank iron. What I mean by that is this has a reservoir in here. This is all filled with water in here, and steam comes up and into the iron that way.
It's more or less an industrial iron.
Yeah, it's an industrial iron. It's the kind of iron you'd probably see in a dry goods or in a dry cleaners or something like that with it. So yeah, this will hold about 4 liters of water in it, so you don't have to be running back and forth and filling it all the time either. And I love this iron. It's a good iron. I really like it. Okay, so now we're going to carry on to the other seam.
Yeah, okay. We can do this off camera because it's the same thing.
Yeah, so same thing. I'm good. But I have a question about this side, though, before you turn off the camera. Okay. I'm going to press to the right, but to the right because the front is over on this side this time,
yeah,
right?
That's
so
correct. You're pressing towards the front of the shirt.
Right. So my seam's going to go that way.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, you can turn it off, Mike. Okay, Walter just did one side to show me what to do, and it's very much like when we sewed the top stitch what did we top stitch before? We top stitched something.
Yeah.
When we on private, but what was it? We must have top stitched.
We top stitched the
band, and we did something else.
We top stitched the sleeve.
Oh yeah, that's right. Oh, okay. Well, here we're doing the same thing. So you saw us press it, and this seam allowance here. Walter did the other side, so the seam allowance went that way. The opposite side, the seam allowance is going this way. So.
And we're doing it on this camera because it is easier to. There's a certain thing that he has to do that will be easier to see on this.
It involves a tunnel, but stay tuned for that. So this is the F foot, and I'm going to be sewing. I have my seam here. I'm making sure that I have everything is over where it's supposed to be underneath. This seam's going that way, and I am aligning. For the position of the needle, I am aligning the inside of the F foot right in here along the seam.
And your needle's in the middle position.
And my needle's in the middle position, and we're still at a 2.40 stitch length. And I guess we're always at a 2.40 stitch length, aren't we? Okay, and you said that I needed to back stitch on this as well, tack down, right? Yeah. So we'll get this going. And let's back it up. And carry on.
You don't have to stretch it major bad, but just to make sure that it lays flat, the seam.
Okay.
Pull your seams apart so that you're not getting a
bump.
Bump, yeah.
Close to the tunnel.
Yeah, because then you have to sew down the outside of your sleeve, and you got to make sure that you don't sew the other side of the sleeve together. Also make sure that your seam's still folding over the right way, because here sometimes it ends up folding the other way.
Mm-hmm. I can see inside, and it is, so we're okay, we're good. So this is the tunnel, people.
Okay, now imagine doing this on a long sleeve shirt, because you have to do the same thing.
I can see that why that would be a bitch and a half. Just trying to get it, make sure I don't get any tucks in anything.
Okay. You might have used it here.
Oh, it got bogged down on the seam.
Yeah, well, that's when we should have used a hump jumper. And I think you got a fold in there. You did.
Where?
Sorry.
Where?
I'm going to start again.
I'm going to go a little slower. Okay, Walter got out the hump jumper for this, but we don't think I actually need it. So I'm going to go where I sort of left off, just back from that a bit. And if I go a little slower, there we go. We're over the hump. Yay! Now make sure I'm not sewing anything that I shouldn't be sewing in here. Like putting a square peg in a round hole, really. Okay. We're making sure we don't have any little parts that are not where they're supposed to be. Okay, I'm talking to myself now, people, because this is what sewing a shirt does for you. Makes you want to talk to yourself. I'm doing a fine job of talking to myself.
Yeah, you're fine.
Now I need to
do a short little back stitch.
Okay, so we're just double checking my sew job here.
Yeah, so we've just sewn down, we've stitched the sides together, we've serged them, and we've stitched them down so that there's a nice top stitch on the outside that is facing to the front of the shirt.
Okay, starting to look like a shirt.
Yeah, so it's beginning to look like a shirt. You've got your sleeves in. You got sleeves in. It's beginning to look like a shirt. Now all you have to do is put the collar on.
He says, as if this is
so I don't know if we want to go all the way with the collar today, or if we well,
what's the first stage of the collar?
First stage of the collar is we're going to have to sew this together. You might want to press that quickly, but okay, well, what we're going to do is put these two pieces together.
Okay, line them up.
Line them up, right.
Yeah.
Line those pieces together and then sew them together and make sure they're the same size.
Well, are we sewing them all the way around?
No, what we're going to do is we're going to sew them up here, around here, and down again. And we're going to start with a normal stitch length here until we get closer to the point, and then we'll drop it down to a 1.0 to go around the edges, so you got a nice crisp, a reasonably crisp point on your collar.
Okay, so we're going to, how many stitches away from that point would you say?
Just do...
Or inches or...
Yeah, just wait till you get about... I'm going to ask you, like normally you sew the collar 3/8 of an inch all the way around, right? But, and then I end up trimming. So what I cheat and I do it a 1/4 inch all the way around.
Oh, okay. Now I have to figure out where 1/4 inches on.
Yeah, don't worry about it. That's what you just did, a 1/4 inch.
I thought you did 1/8.
No, you did a 1/4.
No, I guess that was a 1/4. Yeah, okay.
Okay, so we'll do that. We'll,
should we clip them? Should we clip the
pieces
Yes,
we should
together?
clip the pieces together. So we're just going to sew all the way around that way. We're not sewing all the way around the collar. We're
No, I know.
sewing just this part here and the long part.
Yeah, well, I'm just securing it.
Yeah,
I'm
okay.
probably doing overkill. Okay.
So make sure we match, the ends match here. Okay, we're okay there. We're pretty much okay here too.
So I'm going to start.
You're going to start here. So all the way down here and around.
Okay.
Okay. But don't do the back part. The back part is the part that attaches to the shirt.
All right. Start there.
Okay, and when you're getting around here, drop your stitch length from here to about there.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So let's move the camera over here. Do I have to do a tack down, a back stitch?
Yeah, it's helpful if you do that.
Okay. And so I'm going to go, it's going to be 1/4 of an inch, so I'm going to follow the inside of, wait, no.
No, follow the inside.
Right here.
No, it doesn't matter. Well, you're making this more difficult.
Well, I'm trying to get my orientation.
There, on this side.
Okay. So the inside though.
Yeah, the inside.
Okay. This is not my 1/4 inch foot, you know. Like
no, I know that, but we're just doing approximate. Okay?
Okay, well, again, I'm a quilter. We don't deal in approximates. So right now I'm at 2.40, but when I get closer here.
Okay, now it's drop. Oh, see, now it's flipped over.
Where's my.
Okay, now drop your stitch length to 1.
So we're about what, an inch away?
Or whatever, yeah.
That's what we're doing.
Because you have to pivot at the end, make sure.
So I'm dropping down to 1. Okay, I'm down to 1. And now I'm going to.
Okay.
I'm only going
you
to
want me to do that one?
No.
Okay.
I'm going to come 1/4 of an inch away from here, right?
Yeah.
So on this foot, that's 1/4 of an inch. There's a little line here.
Yeah, you'll be at about where that red the edge of this part of the foot is.
Okay, fine. Let's go for it.
Keep going.
There?
Yeah, try and pivot it and see if you're accurate.
Yeah, that's good, right?
Okay, pretty good, yeah.
Now, do I continue at 1.0?
Yeah, a little bit further, yeah.
Okay, is that enough for 1.0?
Yeah, that's enough.
Now go back to 2.4.
Yeah.
And carry on. This is a long line of stitching. Everybody sing. Somebody suggested after I get this shirt done that I should make another shirt, but make you a Christmas shirt. That's what I said too. Nice suggestion. I think they were joking. I hope they were joking.
Well, one thing I don't like about Christmas shirts is that you only wear them at Christmas time. What a waste of time.
This is true. But it's festive. Okay, so I'm approaching up here, so I'm going to stop it here in just 2 seconds.
Go down to 1.
I'll go down to 1. And then I want to stop. 1/4 of an inch.
You're okay.
Pivot. This is where having a needle down position, people, is I think a good thing.
Okay, go switch back to your.
Switch it up. See, this is something. If you weren't standing over top of me, I would forget to do this. I'm pretty sure.
That's okay. I've done that.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things you got to get used to doing. After you've done enough of them, I suppose it works out okay. Okay, so when I get to the end here, I'm going to do a back stitch, right?
Right.
Okay, so a collar is sewn on 3 sides.
Okay, so now we go back. Actually, we need to go to the well, we'll go do it here and then compress it. We take our clips off.
Are you going to explain what this thing is?
Oh yeah, this thing is called a point press. It's got a point.
Let me move some stuff out of the way.
It is actually a clapper at the bottom, but it's a point press at the top.
Okay.
And what this is so that you can get you can press your collar. You can use a piece of wood too that has a point. It doesn't really matter. Like if you're handy and you have a husband or a partner that knows how to wood, you just get a cheap piece of wood, piece of birch or something, and put a point on it, and you can make your own point press.
Okay, are we pressing the seams open then?
Yes,
on this
we are.
One? Okay. Why is that? So there's not as much bulk in the collar?
Yeah.
Geez, that little device would be very handy when I'm pressing sometimes on a quilt. Open seams.
Well, you know that one that uh, Lydia has that has the felt on it that's rounded. It does something similar.
Yeah, I've seen this. I almost bought one when we were down in Berlin.
And I would think that's similar. So we're going to use this to press your seam open. But I just do it with a finger first.
So finger press that. But we're going to press it right on this piece of wood. When you do it up on the edges too. Okay.
These things are, the point press was about $40 Canadian. But before that, I was just using a piece of wood. It works just as well, but it's handy to have the point press.
So we're going over here to the ironing board, so we'll show you this. Okay, so we've moved over here to the pressing area, and we have, this is an open seam on top of, what did you call this thing?
Point press.
Point press, point press. So
be careful of your fingers.
I know. Wouldn't be the first time I've steamed my fingers.
You might want to turn it around. No. Take the
what?
So the point's on the other end. Take the collar off and turn it around.
Oh, there isn't a point on this end. Oh, that explains a few things then. It was pointless. A little humor there, very little. Okay. Moving up here, moving up here, moving up here. Okay. This is why I do not usually press seams open, because I don't like doing pressing seams open. Steam the hell out of this sucker.
Okay. Good. And then do the ends.
Well, the end is near.
No.
Wait. That way?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm geometrically challenged. Everybody knows that about me. I tell everybody that all the time. I cannot see, if it's in 3 dimensions, I see it in 2.
You might want to hold the press down on one side. Hey, no, go ahead. It's fine right now. Don't worry about it.
Very awkward. My word for the day, awkward. Hot. What? Oh, well, that makes a difference. Who would have thought? Okay.
Okay, so you're done that.
Okay, I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
So we've done that. I guess those stay standing up.
Well, no, we're going to end up trimming them.
Oh, okay. So what do we do now?
We're going to trim the edges. Hang
Trim.
on. Let's go over.
Go the other one. Okay. Okay, so what are we doing? Make sure you're in the camera.
We're just going to trim down the points here.
Okay, but be careful you don't cut the stitches, right?
Yeah, be careful not to.
So what, are you shaving them a little bit?
Yeah.
This is fiddly.
Okay, now I need you to do that on the other side.
Now, the one thing I'm not good with is...
Okay, I'll do it then.
No! I have to learn how to do this. Okay, so...
You can press them down a little bit so that...
Can I do this?
Yeah, yeah. And then...
Do I hit both? Can I clip both at the same time then?
Sure.
So I'm just going to... Just straight across?
Straight across,
from the point.
Yeah.
And then
A
just
little
shave
bit,
it
a little bit down on either side.
So basically I'm going down in or out?
Just, you know, just a little bit down this side here.
Yeah, I know, but towards, like,
Yeah, you
is
can
it
go
going
out.
out
Yeah,
that?
you can go out, whatever, or crooked, or
Like that?
yeah. Actually, might a little bit more than that.
Is that enough?
Yeah, you really got close to the edge there.
So I did. Did I cut the? I didn't cut the corner, did I? No.
You're getting a little too close to the edge because it gets turned inside out, and you got to point.
Yeah, I know. Well, you know, I could put a little bit of a stitch. Just
okay. Just keep going.
next. You told me that I should take more off, so I do.
No, not on that side. I meant down here.
Yeah, I know.
See,
but I meant
I meant down the side like this.
Yeah, I knew what you meant from there, but I stopped, I guess, too soon, and then you said take more off. I did.
Yeah, and then you took too much off the...
Okay. I screwed that up.
Okay, so like that. Okay, now what we're going to do is pull these sides in like that.
And be careful when we put the point out that we don't go through the fabric.
Okay, and do you have a sticky thing that you can put? I've got, where's my ruler?
Use this.
Okay.
But be careful, that's really, it really points, you know, like, you're scaring me. You're really forcing it. Okay, no one can see you.
Okay, so I'm sticking it through.
Careful you don't poke it right through, because that would be my fault, because I cut a little too close.
Yeah, well, you want a pointy...
Yeah, I know, you want a crispy point, but I can go for a slightly dull one without a hole, rather than a pointy point with a hole.
Okay, so now what we need to do is just press this. But try and press it. Which side of the collar do you want up? Do you want this side up, or do you want that side up?
I don't care. They both look the same to me.
This one's a little brighter.
Okay, we'll go with that.
Okay, so now press it so that you don't see the back side.
Okay.
Right? Just a little bit over.
Yeah.
And then press it all the way around.
Okay. Well, we don't need to film this because it's going to do that, so. Okay, what's next?
Okay, so now what we're going to do is you're going to top stitch all the way around at 1/4 inch. All the way around there.
Okay.
Okay?
On this side of it.
On that side.
Okay. So, well, everybody knows how we do the top stitch, so I don't think we need to show that.
Okay, so now what Stephen's done is top stitched all the way around the collar so it's nice and flat.
Except down on this part.
Except this part. This
That
is
part's
part that gets attached to the shirt. So next thing we'll do is we'll have to start with the undercollar of the shirt. And one thing I like to do is mark the center of the collar. Now, different people do it different ways. You can do it with a pencil, or you can do it with a little snip.
Which way do you do it?
I do it with a little snip. So I just take the two sides together here of the shirt, and then there's the two side seams, and then I go down to the back of the shirt here and find the center part, which that's where it is, and I take a little snip out the top just to mark where the center part is, so I can see where the center of the shirt is. I do the same thing with the collar. Take the collar, and take a little snip off the collar just to show me where the center part of the collar is, so I have a mark. Anyway, so we've got that. Now what we need to do is the undercollar has to be attached on one side of the shirt. I attach it on the back side of the shirt, and I don't remember how to do this. Oh, okay.
Okay, let's just
Now,
slow down here for a second, because we've got two pieces, but these two pieces do not match each other. One goes, they're opposites, right? Aren't they?
no, they're mirror image.
Yeah, they're mirror image. Okay, so you did again. You mark the center of this. You fold it one, and you're using the piece that.
Okay, so what happens is I have to take the undercollar that's like this and sew it onto there's the collar. Sew it on here, and I have to overhang about 3/4 of an inch over the edge here.
Okay, over the edge. Do you mean at the points?
At the points, yeah.
Okay.
At the edge of the front of the shirt, and you're doing front sides together or right sides together. Right? And
you know, put a clip in that.
What I usually do is I do put it in the center first, and then I just, because it doesn't matter if it hangs out a little bit more than it has to. And if it doesn't hang out, then I have to make it.
You got to ease it.
Yeah. So I just pin that in, and what this does is it when I'm pinning it in from the back, what it's doing is it's making the undercollar on the back side of the shirt. This is the back side of the shirt, so
And
that's the undercollar.
this is the undercollar.
Yeah.
Okay, so ideally, as you're clipping this around here,
Yeah.
when you get to the end, you will have what you need to be overhanging.
Yeah. And if we don't,
Basically, you're creating a dog ear.
Yeah.
Because I assume you will eventually be cutting that off.
No. Well,
no,
yes,
no?
Sort of. You'll see what happens.
Okay, I shiver with anticipation.
What ends up happening is you end up folding it inside out like you did your collar.
Oh.
But we're not there yet.
Okay, one step at a time. Baby steps.
Because if you look at a collar, here at the front of the collar, you have a part that runs down like this, and it goes.
Oh.
Right? So that's what you're doing.
Okay. That's as clear as mud. I think the invention of the smock was a really good idea. They should have stopped there.
Mm-mm.
You know, a sack with a hole for your head and 2 holes for your arms. Oops, I ran out of clips. Just a second.
I'm a little worried.
Oh,
no, we're okay.
Okay. Don't say worried. You get me worried. You say you're worried.
We're going to
Too much of an overhang?
We're going to make it work. Okay.
You easing it?
A little bit.
Okay, we're easing. Okay, no one can see this.
Okay, well, I'm just trying to make it work so that I have an overhang on both sides, which is unusual that we don't have that.
What? It's unusual that we do have an overhang, or we
Where's
don't?
my center part?
I don't know. Well, you haven't got your clips are. Well, your center part's probably under a clip, right? There.
There it is.
That's your center. Well, you're off center a little bit.
Okay.
This is a bit tedious. Okay, just to reiterate what Walter's doing, he's matching up the under collar with the edge of the shirt, top of the edge of the back of the shirt. Is that what? Top of the edge of the back of the shirt. Okay, that sounds to be more confusing.
Yeah, well, problem is here is it's curved, right? So,
yeah.
All right, so we're going to sew.
Okay, is everything right on this end?
We're okay on both things.
Okay.
And
So we've got, how much of an overhang do we have here? It looks almost like a half an inch.
We try to have about a quarter, a 3/4, or a half inch or whatever.
Okay.
Doesn't really matter.
So show that under the camera a little closer up.
So what
Those
we
three
have
parts.
is an overhang on this side and an overhang on that side. Maybe a little more overhang on this side and the other side. So move that over, but we can go off camera now. So because this is, you don't need to see all this real time, right?
Well, what are we doing?
I'm just adjusting it to make sure that it's
Okay.
pinned right.
And so then we're stitching it along.
We're going to be stitching at 3/8 of an inch all the way down here.
Here we go with that 3/8 again. Okay. And at 2.40.
At
Stitch length?
2.40, yeah. And you're going to back stitch at the front here.
Okay.
Okay, so that's what we're going to do.
Okay. I guess we can do that off camera because it's pretty much
Yeah.
straightforward stitching. So we've got that sewn on.
Okay, now what I need you to do is to iron it. And iron this part up here and make sure the back's flat.
Okay, so I'm not doing it as an open seam. I'm going to just, the whole seam's going up like that.
Yeah.
To the top of the collar.
And then make sure it's, actually what I'd like you to do first is put this down here and sew this up.
Press it up.
Press it up.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
So that we don't have like a little roll.
Yeah.
Happening there. Okay, I think we can do this off camera too.
You might want to use the other ham because it's curved.
Okay.
So what you do is you use this ham, and because your collar is curved a little bit, you just press it up on this ham here, like this, and move it over and press it up a little bit more, like there, because this whole collar is curved.
Okay. All right. So we'll do that off camera. Okay. So Walter just had me go over to this to the iron, and I pressed. What I do?
You press the under collar flat.
Okay.
So and the inside of the collar is pressed up against it, so it's like it's folded over on the seam here.
Okay.
Okay, now I've also taken the other under collar and asked Steve to press it up about 3/8 of an inch on this side, because this one has to match this collar on the inside. Okay, and this will become the inside collar.
Okay.
Okay, so now what we're going to do is I'm going to mark this center part again for this shirt, only the under collar is going to be at the top of the under collar that I'm making a mark in, so I know where the center is. Okay.
Those aren't fabric scissors or paper scissors.
Oh, that's okay. It doesn't matter. It cuts anyway, right? So now we're going to attach the collar. Now we know where the center part of the collar is, so we're going to put the collar this will be the underside of the collar, and this is the upper side of the collar. So we're going to attach it to the back side of the collar to the front side of the collar. Front side's facing, or right side's facing, right? So we're just going to put this in place just so that it's there. I'll need a pencil in a minute.
A pencil or a chalk pencil?
A pencil.
So
anything that'll make a color to mark.
Sharpie?
No, I don't want it Sharpie because it'll bleed through the front.
Yeah, I know. I was being funny. Ha ha ha.
So we're just attaching the collar to the under collar.
Okay, so the corner of this, I just noticed, is matching up to the where the edge of that was. There's a line. It's where it stops curving.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
That's not.
Seems you tell me that all the time. Well, it doesn't matter.
It's got to be in the center of your, so you don't have one side hanging more off on the other side, right?
I guess this will clip out. You seem to do a lot of this trim, trim, trim. No wonder they make the shirt sizes so large. You're cutting half of it off when you're trying to sew it together.
Why have I got more hanging out on this side?
I don't know. You're the teacher. Did you put the sew centers? Did you line your centers properly? Don't try this at home. Okay, you got a center mark there. And do we have a center mark here? Yeah, that's where you clipped it before.
Okay,
so fine. That works. So
yeah, that works. It's just the way I was pinning it.
Can I make a suggestion?
Mm-hmm.
After you put the clip into the center part, why don't you match up your ends and put a clip there and see how it all fits, and then you can sort of fudge the stuff in between.
I know I keep clipping you get all uptight whether I clip these on the right side or the wrong side.
Well,
I don't know. All I care is that it holds together.
But when you put it underneath the sewing machine,
okay,
the flat part's supposed to be on the bed of the sewing machine, so it moves easier. And you can just push them and unclip them. Well, now you learned something, didn't you? It's all about the clips.
Okay. Now we're going to take this
camera.
Sorry. This part here, and we're that's the other. What do you call it? The other collar, underside of the collar, or whatever.
The undercollar.
Undercollar, and we're going to clip it on top of the right side or of the collar.
The piece we just clipped down.
Yeah.
You're going to put it on top of that, and are you going to match the edges?
We're sandwiching it. Yeah, we're trying to match the edges.
Okay. But do you have to worry about the center point, or will it just work?
Yeah, I don't really care about the center point at this point.
Okay. So no center point at this point. All right.
And we got to make sure these line up. These two ends here line up here.
Okay, people see this?
These two ends here line up. They have to line up, especially when you're sewing it. So we're sandwiching all three together.
So we've got quite a few layers of fabric to go through.
Right.
When we sew this.
of the, yeah, because you've got all the stuff's interfaced too. So you've got 2 pieces of color, 2 pieces under color, and all pieces are interfaced. So you've got,
But your sewing machine shouldn't have any problem.
no, most sewing machines should be able to get right through all that.
Just make sure you're not using a ballpoint needle. Use a sharp.
Okay. Now these 2 sides don't really line up.
Can't we just trim that?
Yeah, we can.
Well, if you look those 2 points lined up, then you can like
Here.
sort of fudgy around with the clips. Okay, or you can just cut off the excess. That works too.
Okay, so now what we need is a pencil. And what we're going to do is we're going to sew all the way around the edge here. And we have to do a curve. And you're going to have to start right here at the edge, right? Not on here and not too far off there, right? So we're going to have to make a curve.
So would you say that's what, is that a 1/4 inch?
That's you may have a 1/4 inch here, but you have to follow the line and do a 3/8. Okay.
Could you not use something that's round?
Well, I just eyeball it.
Okay.
Okay, and we're going to start here at 1.0. God help you if you go off of me. You have to unpick the sucker. It's a pain.
Yeah.
Okay, and then when you come back here, you're going to have to do the same thing. Right around here. Till you get to about 3/8. And down the side here.
3/8. What are you saying? 3/8. 3/8 from what?
We'll start, if it ends up being a 1/4 here, you end
Yeah.
up going up. You'll end up being at 3/8 up
Oh,
here.
okay. So you're making a little wider when you get to the top.
Yeah. So just sort of follow that around. And make sure these ends are lined up. These things here.
Okay, wouldn't a clip be a handy thing at that point?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
All right. So you drew a line from here. You went just to the edge of
Just to
where that
the,
overhangs there.
yeah.
Okay. And you did about 3/8 in from the seam, from the edge.
Well, actually, if it's 3/8 or whatever, you have to just follow that line. Okay, and then end up at 3/8 up here. Okay.
Oh, okay. So this one's less than 3/8.
Right, probably, yeah.
That's more like a 1/4.
Yeah.
Okay, and then when you get up here, you're making it a little wider all the way along here.
Yeah, basically it should be 3/8 all the way around, but because sometimes the edges aren't exactly alike, you'll have to fudge it.
Okay.
Okay.
So I'm going to take this to the sewing machine and I'm going to just stitch there, follow that line that you drew on here.
Yeah, but you at a 1.0 up till the curve. It's easier to curve when you've got a short stitch, right?
Okay, then I'll expand the stitch to 2.4 again,
Yeah.
go across. Then when I get over to this part, I'm going to go back down to 1 and down.
Yeah.
And do I have to back stitch anywhere?
It's better if you, well, actually it'll be too difficult for you to back stitch at the edges, so just don't worry about it.
Okay, we'll be back. Okay, this was a little trickier than I thought it was going to be. So
we've sewed all the way around as best we could. And so what ends up happening is this is the collar that we've added to the outside here. Why is this thing? And we're going to actually sew a little too close to the edge here. Well,
wait. Well, what do you mean we sewed it too close to the edge?
It's not going to fold over properly.
Why did how'd that happen?
We don't have enough of this.
So we're going to have to take that off.
Yeah. We're actually going to have to resew it.
But okay, but before we do that, what happened?
Okay, so what ended up happening is because I don't know why it happened. I think it's because we ended up sewing a little bit too far over. And let's just see if this will work. So anyway, we've got the two under colors, and we're going to end up pushing one out here and pushing one out here. we might still be okay. Hang on. And you've got the collar in the middle, right? And the outside undercollar is here, and the inside undercollar is here. We're still okay. We're fine.
Thank God.
So, and this part of the undercollar is going to come down here, and we're going to sew it down on this side. But first we got to press it.
Okay, so which way are we pressing it?
And what else you're going to do is you're going to trim it.
Do all the layers get trimmed equally?
No.
We have to graduate them?
Yeah.
Oh, I hate that.
So this will be turned in inside out. We've got the other undercollar, and we're going to press this down on the inside, and it's going to line up with the outside collar. So, yep, we're going to trim it down.
Okay, so what do we do first? We're trimming it down. How are we doing that?
We're going to make this side...
Camera. Maybe if I bring the camera in a little closer.
Okay, well, first of all, we're going to get you to press all this down, and then we're going to trim the inside of the thing.
Okay, so if I'm pressing this down, I'm pressing like all of this down, so it's even here.
Yeah, and you'll have this little dog ear on the edge here, and you're not going to cut that, because what you're going to do is when you're going to sew it, you're going to push it up under. Oh. If you cut it off, then you'll have a fray at the end.
Oh, afraid not.
So you're going to end up pushing that up, but we're going to do that when you're sewing it, because what'll end up happening is after he's pressed it, he's going to end up sewing all the way around, top stitching all the way around the collar, across here and back down around this way. And before we do that, I'm going to stick it down with steam-a-seam. But what I'm going to ask him to do is trim the inside edge of this so that
before I press it.
I'd say press it first and then trim it and then press it again.
Okay, so let's do this step by step, because you just gave me 10 instructions. Let's break it down. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to press all of this down this way. Okay, we don't have any lumps in there.
Yeah, and you're also going to press the back so that, again.
Okay, like I said, let's break it down.
Okay.
So I'm going to press this side first down, then I'm going to flip it over and make sure I press that one down so we have a nice flat seam. Right? Okay. I don't think you need to see that on camera. Okay, so Walter had me press this and then he said we missed a step.
Okay, so all we're going to do is on the edges of this, we're going to trim down the edges. This one's kind of overlapping here. So we're going to trim down the edges so that they
stitches.
That they will fold over easier. But make sure not to trim this little thing too much here. You can trim it a tiny bit, but not too much. You need a little dog ear here. If you don't do that, then you may have a rough edge on your sewing. So, and then we just trim this around here. And what some people do, okay, that'll just give it a nice cleaner edge when we fold it inside out here, so it's a little bit more. And you want it a little bit rounded. You want it a little bit rounded, so don't get too uptight if it's not perfect.
Now you tell me.
Okay, so now I'm going to get you to grade the inside here and leave the longest side to the back.
Okay,
so
the longest side to the back.
Yeah, so we'll cut this one down the shortest inside one. Okay.
Oh God, I hate doing this. All right, I'm confused. Which one am I not cutting?
Okay, hang on. You want the longest side to be at the back. right?
Okay.
Okay, so the longest side is this side.
The one underneath.
Yeah. So the one on top is the shortest one.
Okay. So I've got how many layers there to shave?
Well, just shave this one to 1/8 and then the next one to about 1/4 and then leave the last one the same size.
Okay, I am now confused because I need numbers. Give me a number. Like number.
About 1/8 on this side.
No. I'm trying to figure out the order of how many of these. Do I have to cut them one at a time? Can I double up any?
How can you double up one? You've got one layer here.
That looks like
You've
more than
got
one layer.
layer here, which is actually 2 layers.
It's not one layer, is it, if it's 2 layers?
There, you've got this. You've got 2 layers in the middle. 2 layers in the middle become 1. Right? And 1 layer at the outside.
So I have 3 strips.
So you have 3 basically layers.
Okay, 3 layers. Okay, layer 1 I'm not going to trim.
No.
How come it's stuck together?
Because when you ironed it, you had some overhanging interfacing in it stuck together. That part that you screwed up and you you had an overhang of the interfacing, it ended up fusing on the inside.
Okay, so now we have freed that.
Yeah.
Okay, so this one's number 1. It's not going to get trimmed.
No, this one's, yeah, that one's number 1. It doesn't get trimmed. This one gets trimmed and that one gets trimmed.
Now, these two...
This one is the shortest. This is the next one up.
So would it be best for me to trim the shortest first?
Yes.
Okay, so when we say shortest,
here.
see here, we're going to trim it close to that seam line, that sewn line.
Yeah.
Okay, but you're cutting 2 layers now.
No, I'm cutting 1 layer. 1 layer
that's
is
got
that and the interfacing.
That's the interfacing. Okay, yeah, right.
Okay, so cut that one first. And I'd suggest
yes,
you go to it off camera because it'll take forever.
Okay, well, let's get it started and see. Am I doing that okay?
Yeah, okay. Could be a little shorter, but...
Oh, okay, fine.
Well, actually, that's to about 1/8. What?
I hate graduating seams. Who in their right mind came up with this and thought it was a good idea? The next one.
Don't you have better scissors? Where's your applique scissors?
Oh, well, they're on the applique stand. Where do you put your applique scissors? I know where I could tell you to put them. Why didn't you say applique scissors at the beginning of all of this? Yes, applique scissors do make a difference. But you didn't say applique, you said scissors. And teacher are you? Okay, so what do...
Fold this back out when you're doing the trimming.
Okay. Well, I wasn't sure if I should or not because you didn't explain to me. Is that okay?
Yeah, whatever. Okay.
All right, so then the next one I'm going to do, but not quite as... Ouch, I'm in my hands in that. Because we started a little prematurely in. Well, you do it so well. This is why I have you make my shirts.
Okay, so.
All right, so this one I'm going to trim, but not quite as short as that.
Yeah, not quite. Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll do this off camera. Okay, I graduated the seams. Not happy about that. It's done. I don't like doing that.
So now I'm using this product, Steam a Seam 2, right? And it's 1/4 of an inch stuff. We've used it before when we were doing the front of the shirt. And what we're going to do is we're going to stick it on the inside of the undercollar here because this has to be stuck down to here, right?
Okay, you know what would be easier to show this is if we took the bulk of the shirt move some of this crap out of the way and put it down with that.
No, okay. So what'll end up happening is this is your collar, that's your back of your collar, and this is the front of your collar on the inside of your shirt, and it needs to be sewn down here. And to make it easier, I'm using a tool called Steam Seam 2 to use it to stick it down on the front here so that it's easier for us to sew.
It's basically a two-sided tape.
It's a two-sided tape, and but it's heat activated, so it's a glue, and it'll glue our front of our undercollar down, so it's easier for us to stitch.
Okay, something I want you to do right now. So I want you to lift your finger up from that because there's little pieces hanging out from
Okay,
there.
so what we're going to do is we're going to adhere this stuff to the side here, and then we'll stick this down so it's stuck down, and then we'll proceed. Then we'll talk about stitching.
Okay, so show us how to put the steam seam on it.
Okay, so what'll end up happening is we need an iron for this, but
one side of it is sticky, so it'll temporarily stick to the fabric,
not
right?
very well.
Oh, so we need to go over to the pressing mat then, is what you're saying.
Yeah, actually this one, it's sticking to my fingers. What we'll do is we'll take this and we'll start here and stick it to
Stick it.
the underside here.
Okay. All right, so we need to go over to the iron, right?
Yeah.
Because that's not going to stick until it's got some heat.
Yeah. So
okay.
Why don't we do that, and then we'll pull the tape off and show people.
Okay, I've stuck it down, and now we're going to peel it off. Because you don't need the pin for that.
So we've got glue on here now.
Okay.
Okay, so now we'll take this, push this out, and we want it to glue down to the inside of the shirt here, but not make any wrinkles. And try and match it up to the outer edge of the
You've got a little wrinkle there.
Oh, here. That's a problem.
Maybe we should take the iron to that.
Make sure you don't
yeah, I know.
You activate the steam seam. No, not there. Hang on.
What? We'll be back after a little bit of cursing, swearing, and burning Walter with the iron. We've got it stuck down.
It's stuck down. A little bit of stitching showing, but it doesn't matter. That's the inside of the shirt. Anyway, so now what we're going to do is we've got basically it stuck, the inside of the collar is stuck down and the outside of the collar there. And so we're going to have to sew all the way around the inside collar on 1/8 of an inch all the way around.
So we're doing a top stitch.
A top stitch.
But then you have to take those corner pieces you said
and
stick them in.
Okay, so now what you're going to do is you're going to take your stiletto or your awl or whatever you call it, and as you're sewing across this part, you're going to shove it in with that.
Okay. Shove it in.
Yeah, to hide that. So. Okay.
But
actually, what I'm going to ask Steve to do is when he's sewing this, he's going to start in here a little bit. Because when you come to the outer edge, it's really hard to start at an outer edge.
Too much
because
bulk.
There's too much bulk. So it's easier to start in a little bit and work your way around this way and then across and then back again.
Okay. Well, I'm going to have to start here and go down. No, because you want me to do it from there.
Where?
You want me to start here and go, because if I started up here and went down here, then I'd hit the, no, I wouldn't hit the bulk. I'd be okay. I'm thinking of how I line this up on the sewing machine. See,
well, no, well, you can line it up on either way.
Well, I guess I could do it this way, right?
No, you're going to have to do 1/8 of an inch instead of 1/4.
Yeah, I know. Okay. we're going to just move the camera over here so you can see what I'm talking about when I start this. So do I do it at 2? What stitch length?
Do it at 2.
At 2.4?
You can do 2.4. I actually do a little smaller. I usually do it at a 2 because it's a little bit more.
You're not supposed to give me choices. Just tell me.
Just 2 is easier because especially when you're going around the corner.
All right, so you want me to start down here?
Yeah, or not on
the corner, but
no, yeah.
Okay, and I'm doing.
Okay, press that thing up to the edge there like that,
Okay,
right?
this side of the foot.
But you're going to push the needle over. So it's that 1/8 of an inch or so. Okay, hang on. It might be too far.
Too far.
How far? I can't tell where.
Okay,
I can't
give me
see
the
it.
stiletto here. Right there. I think it's too close to the edge.
Yeah, I think it is
I
too.
think we need to go over a little bit more. Needles will go right there.
I can't see.
Where are your?
Actually, I'd say put it at.
No, I need to go
2.
over further.
Actually, I think I would probably had it at about 3 when 2. Okay, that looks better. Here, let me see. It's still kind of
too close to it.
Hang on. Put your needle up. Yeah, go to 2.5 or whatever. I think I do it at about 3 usually.
There's 30.
All right, that's pro.
That looks a little wide to me.
Yeah, go down to about 2.5. Your needle didn't move.
Okay.
Actually, yeah, that'll move.
Okay, so it's at the edge of there, and there's the needle going right there.
Yeah, that's good.
You sure?
Mm-hmm. Does that look good?
Looks pretty good to me.
Yeah, okay, that's fine.
But then I've never done this before, so, you know. Okay, I think we can stop recording at this point because I'm just going around. It's just boring. So just hit the record button on the thing there, please, and we'll come back. Okay, I've got a collar on my shirt, and it's okay. Well, it's better than okay, but it's not absolutely perfect. But nobody's going to see it. The stitching, because
actually what happens is that it's kind of important to line up your outer collar and your inner collar, so that when you stitch on the inside it lines up on the outside, and this one's a little bit off, but this is the under collar, so you don't really see it as much when you're wearing the shirt.
Sorry, get the camera over here so you can
so some people, I've seen some videos where they stitch on the outside of the collar so that it's more even than stitching on the inside, but I learned to stitch on the inside, so that's the way I do it.
habit of
but
creature of habit.
Yeah. So, but I think it looks good.
I think it looks okay.
It looks good.
Yeah. All right. So
it will just end up, he's may have to press this side of the collar down. So then the next steps to this is that...
which we're not doing on this.
Yeah, I know. We're not doing today.
No.
But so now he's got a shirt with a collar and sleeves and everything else. So now the finishing parts are done. Then now what we'll end up having to do in the next probably time is we'll have a time next time that we're going to hem the shirt and we're going to hem the sleeves. And then we'll have to put the buttons in the buttonholes in.
Yay. That sounds exciting. Let me switch.
And then we'll be done.
And then we'll be done. Oh my God.
Almost done.
So I will reserve my judgment as to whether I'm ever going to do another shirt. I don't know if I could do one now by myself yet. I don't think I'm...
Well, it took me a few tries before I was able to. I've done this shirt so many times that I don't have to look at the manual.
Yeah. But anyways, well, we'll reserve my decision on that until later on. All right. So thanks for joining us today. This was a little bit tedious with it all, but I hope that you guys were able to see what we were seeing relatively well, given our camera setup and everything like that. Okay, so Walter's already told you what we're going to do next time. So we'll see you next time. If you have comments to share or whatever, you know, you can put them in the comment section or send things to me directly by email. Be kind. Yeah, be kind. But yeah, okay. Any parting words, Walter?
Nope.
Nope. Okay. So we're going to say goodbye. See you next time. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.